Apple's brand new iPhone 16 series look absolutely amazing, at least in the way that Apple portrayed them during their event, because they actually kept a few secrets away from you, including both good and bad things, probably because they're a little bit deceptive in some way. So in this video, I'm gonna go through 20 things that Apple chose not to mention conveniently about the new iPhone 16s, as well as the Apple Watches and AirPods. So let's jump into number 1. Don't worry, this one is actually very positive. Apparently, Apple's new MagSafe charging has been updated to 25 watts on all of the iPhone 16 models. And yes, Apple didn't mention this during the event, but even better, you can charge your iPhone from 0 to 50% in just 30 minutes with wireless charging, and it's actually faster than wired, which is just insane and super impressive. So you no longer have to stick with wired charging if you want the fastest speeds. The only downside is that right now the only way to get it is with the new MagSafe charging puck, but they do finally have a longer 2-meter cable option. Now for number 2, when Apple revealed the 16-core neural engine in the A18 chip for the iPhone 16, they made it seem like a brand new neural engine, but guess what? You actually get the same one on the A18 Pro chip for the high-end iPhone 16 Pro models, which is essentially identical to the same 16-core neural engine in the previous iPhone 15 Pro's A17 Pro chip, since both of them have 35 TOPS of performance, so you really have no difference. For number 3, this one's actually a pretty good one. The iPhone 16 models now have added an anti-reflective lens coating, and yes, Apple didn't even mention this during the event, and this should hopefully finally get rid of the really weird and terrible reflection effects that you get with lights when recording videos at night, which is super annoying, so I can't wait to test this out. Now for number 4, Apple not only kept the prices of the new iPhone 16 series models the same, like $999 on the iPhone 16 Pro, which hasn't changed since the iPhone 10 in 2017, which is kind of insane considering inflation, but they actually dropped the price of the new iPhone 16 Pro in some countries like Australia, Malaysia, and probably more, so this is really cool news. For number 5, the new iPhone 16 Pro supports a brand new image format called JPEG XL, which according to the website listing is better than HEIC and other formats in basically every single way. And I can't believe that Apple didn't mention this during the event, because this will save up to 30% of your storage space without even losing any quality, which is insane. Now moving on to number 6, Apple didn't mention this, but all of the new iPhone 16 models, including the regular 16, have 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it's actually the same RAM. And this is the first time in a few years that both the high-end and regular models share the same RAM. So you get all the benefits of the multitasking and the Apple Intelligence AI performance across the board. You don't have to pick and choose. Even the A18 and A18 Pro chips CPU is exactly the same, neural engines the same, so no difference in AI performance and multitasking. And now for number 7, Apple added a new selfie video mode to the iPhone 16 Pro models. Specifically, when you're taking a selfie photo and you choose to press and hold to do a quick take video, well, the resolution is up to 4K at 60 FPS in Dolby Vision for the first time. So if you like to take videos that way, the improvement in quality is going to be insane compared to how it was before. Now for number 8, we do have better batteries across the board for all of the new iPhone 16 models, but there are actually some pretty insane differences. First of all, going from the 15 Pro Max to the 16 Pro Max, you get 14% better battery life, and going from the 15 Pro to 16 Pro, 17% better, while on the regular 16, it's only about 10%, which is still pretty decent. But here's a huge shocker that nobody knows and Apple didn't mention. It's terrible for the new 16 Plus. It's only 3.8% better than the 15 Plus and the 14 Plus. And believe it or not, the 16 Plus actually has the same amount of audio playback as the 14 Plus. So if you want to get the best boost in battery life, you should probably go for the 16 Pro Max. Now for number 9, Apple didn't mention this because it's actually pretty embarrassing, but they discontinued their failed fine woven cases, which nobody liked. They were terrible compared to genuine leather, which other case makers make, and they definitely have you covered, like Nomad, which makes my favorite genuine leather cases of all time, including the magnetic leather back, which I love since it doesn't make it thicker on the sides. It gives you some grip and protection. I've daily driven this for like 6 months, absolutely love it, so it's a lot better than fine woven. Now moving on to number 10, Apple didn't really mention this verbally, but all of the new iPhone 16 models come with Wi-Fi 7, which is a big deal because we thought it was only coming on the Pro models, not the regulars, so that's awesome because Wi-Fi 7 is the best update for Wi-Fi in many years, since it can take all 3 Wi-Fi bands and combine them into one automatically. So as you're moving away from your router and getting closer, it switches seamlessly without you having to do it by yourself. Such a big deal. But on the downside, for number 11, you'd probably expect the Bluetooth to be upgraded as well. But nope, Apple didn't mention this because they kept it the same at Bluetooth 5.3, the same as we had on the iPhone 15 Pro and actually on the iPhone 14 Pro, so literally no upgrade to Bluetooth in 2 years. Now, Apple also didn't mention a few things about the Apple Watch updates, which let's get into number 12. Apple really made it seem like they released a new Apple Watch Ultra 3 model with all the features they talked about, but they actually didn't. It's still the Ultra 2, but simply with a new finish, that's all. Nothing else has changed, and this is really unfortunate because it misses out on some of the great new features that the Series 10 gets, like the better LTPO3 OLED display, which now has a wide-angle OLED tech that's about 40% brighter when viewed at an angle. Well, this doesn't get it. And for number 13, the brand new Series 10 now has a depth gauge up to 6 meters and a water temperature sensor, which means it'll support the new Oceanic Plus app. However, it actually doesn't support nearly as much depth as the current Ultra, which goes down to 40 meters for diving. So don't assume that you can get the Series 10 and go diving because you could mess up your watch. And now for number 14, Apple was actually really sneaky with this because when they released the new Apple Watch Series 10, they gave us the new sleep apnea feature, which is really exciting. But what they didn't mention on stage is that it's actually coming to the previous Series 9 and the Ultra 2 models, which means you don't even have to upgrade to the Series 10. So some people may have already upgraded for that, but you actually don't have to. So I thought that Apple was gonna lock that behind some sort of a new chip update like the S10, but they chose not to, which is pretty cool. And for number 15, they also mentioned that you can finally play audio through the built-in speakers, which is really cool. But guess what they didn't mention? That same feature is also coming to the Ultra 2, so you don't even have to upgrade to the Series 10. This by itself is a huge feature for some people. And now with that said, Apple also has some sneaky secrets for the AirPods as well. For example, number 16 is that the AirPods 4 no longer come with a cable in the box. This is very disappointing since you always used to get cables in all AirPods, including the old and cheap AirPods 2, and the AirPods Pro 2 still get them, just not with the new AirPods 4, which is disappointing. For number 17, believe it or not, the brand new AirPods 4 actually have 1 hour less battery life than the previous AirPods 3, including the new model that doesn't have active noise cancellation. It still has 1 hour less, which Apple definitely didn't reveal on stage, and 5 minutes of charging now only provides 45 minutes of talk time instead of 1 hour with the AirPods 3. But on the upside, number 18 is that the AirPods 4 have better water and dust resistance with IP54 instead of IPX4, which means it has certified dust resistance built in, which is very nice. And once again, another positive improvement that Apple didn't mention, the AirPods 4 actually have a new vent system for pressure equalization, which is something they borrowed from the AirPods Pro 2, and that's one of my favorite things because you can wear them forever and not feel like your ears are plugged with a bunch of pressure. I'm really surprised that that's coming to the regular AirPods 4 models, and Apple chose not to mention it. And finally, for number 20, this is by far the worst. Yes, we got the brand new AirPods Max update with new colors and USB-C, but guess what? They still pack the super old H1 chip for the same $549 price. Even the brand new cheapest AirPods 4 for $129 come with the H2 chip, so it's ridiculous that Apple didn't take the time to switch out the chip on these super expensive AirPods Max updates, so it's missing out on a bunch of the new H2 specific features. So there you guys go. Those were 20 things that Apple didn't mention during their event, including the new iPhone 16 series, which I'm super excited to get and compare and test. So if you want to see videos of us testing them, definitely subscribe and let me know your comments down below, and check out one of those 2 videos right over there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.